Left to die alone in agony, hospital bans daughter from dying mum's bedside. September 11, 2023. A Bay of Plenty woman is distraught her mother will die alone in agony after being trespassed from Tauranga Hospital and told she will be arrested if she attempts to visit. Tracy Lee is power of attorney for her mother, who is in palliative care at Tauranga Hospital with just a short time left to live, as she is dying from end-stage cancer and vascular dementia. Lee now fears her mother will die in pain and alone, after the hospital banned her from her mother's bedside and asked police to issue a trespass order forbidding her to enter the premises. "I've been told I will be arrested if I go to the hospital. Even when I phone, they refuse to give me any information on my mother. Even that she's still alive. It seems callous that my mother is forbidden to have her family near in her final hours. It's cruel, inhumane." Police were called to Tauranga Hospital on September 10 and asked to serve a trespass notice on the hospital's behalf, a police spokesperson said. "We are not investigating further. The details of what occurred would be for the hospital to comment on." Lee had been visiting her mother for 12 weeks, sleeping often in a chair beside the bed, and said there had been no previous restriction on her visiting hours in the ward. On the afternoon of September 10, her mother was screaming in pain all afternoon and both Lee and her sister Kim had been asking for a doctor to examine her and review her pain medications, Lee said. "Mum had been crying for 4 hours, groaning in pain, and screaming when touched, and writhing in agony on the bed. No one seemed to know what was going on. No one could identify who the duty manager or on-call doctor were. The on-call doctor then did not answer their pager, and I was told they were short-staffed." Lee asked to look at her mother's chart but said the nurse refused, even though Lee explained as power of attorney she was legally entitled to check her notes. "I placed my hand on the bottom of the notes. The nurse had her hand on the top of the folder. She asked me to let go of the folder, and became confrontational, so I asked for the duty manager. She let go of the file and dropped whatever was in her hand and walked away. I presumed she'd gone to find the duty manager so went into the nurse's station which is in public view, but she was on the phone. I went back to Mum's bedside. 30 minutes later 3 burly security guards arrived with a duty manager who asked me to leave." Lee said all the people at the end of the bed was distressing her mother, she said. "Other visitors were opening their curtains," she said. "She told me she'd call the police and I said I would. The police walked me out of the hospital with security and issued me the order. They wouldn't allow me to say goodbye to Mum." Lee's sister Kim, who was with her when this all happened, said the duty nurse told them they were preventing us from treating your mother. "That is ridiculous when all afternoon we'd been asking for pain relief, and they kept stalling, then came with Panadol, then said only a doctor could give something stronger. Eventually a doctor had to come from ED and gave her 2 strong medications. The trespass was a complete overreaction from the hospital," Kim told Stuff in tears. "The final memories of our mother's life are this: it's heartbreaking enough to lose your mum, and for her to be left in pain, then her daughter not be able to be with her is just revolting." Lee has now engaged a lawyer to see if the order could be lifted, so she could visit her mother. "It's so stressful as there is potentially not much time left. Mum will be wondering where I am." Te Watu Ora Haora Atoi Bay of Plenty Senior Advisor Governance and Quality Debbie Brown said it was unable to comment on individual cases but that trespass orders were not issued without serious consideration. However, Te Watu Ora guidelines state trespass notices are issued only in serious instances of the above, such as the actual occurrence of an assault, major theft, or serious willful damage, the presence of someone with a weapon, or when de-escalation techniques have failed and the person poses a threat to patients, staff, or property. There have been 20 trespass orders issued at Tauranga Hospital during the last 12 months, said Brown. Brown said the family were offered a meeting with her and the acting group director of operations prior to the incident which led to the trespass order being issued. The offer remains, and the family are welcome to make contacts so that we are able to work through this with them. Lee said that this meeting referred to a complaint she'd made about her mother's care, which was about Debbie Brown herself. This was before, and with Mum being so sick, that had gone on the back burner, but mainly because the complaint was about her, so it seemed odd she would arrange a meeting. Lee is a volunteer in suicide prevention and mental health advocacy and has run a nationwide suicide bereaved network group for 10 years. She also runs a global grief support group. Last night, when she shared the situation on her private page with friends and colleagues, people were horrified and labeled the hospital's actions as shameful, cruel, and disgraceful. What is a trespass order? Under the Trespass Act 1980, anyone can give a person a verbal or written trespass notice if you want them to leave a premises you legally occupy. Police do not have to issue the order, but a trespass order can be reported to the police, or police may assist in issuing an order. Once given the trespass order, the person must not return to the premises for 2 years, unless invited by the person in charge/ownership of the property. If they do come back, it is considered an offence. Police can decide what action to take next depending on the circumstances. Source: NZ Police.